Students, today we are going to start from let us revise activity, which is on page number 6 of your textbook. First I'll read the activity. Annette studies in a Dutch medium school in the northern region of Belgium. Many French speaking students in her school want the medium of instruction to be French. So here Annette is a student who is studying in a Dutch medium school in northern region of Belgium, means in the Flemish region where the Dutch speaking people live. And there in that school, many French speaking students in her school want the medium of instruction to be French. So it seems that there the medium of instruction is Dutch. So this is one case, and the second is Selvi studies in a school in the northern region of Sri Lanka. All the students in her school are Tamil speaking and they want the medium of instruction to be Tamil. So this is a situation with two students. One is from Belgium. She is living in the northern region where there are Dutch speaking people living. In her school, the French speaking students, they want that the medium of instruction should be French. Even Annette seems to want that the medium instruction should be French. And the other case is of a girl called Selvi. She is living in northern part of Sri Lanka, and she wants that the medium instruction should be Tamil. So the question is, if the parents of Annette and Selvi were to approach respective governments to realize the desire of the child, who is more likely to succeed and why? So out of the two cases, who do you think will succeed in convincing the respective governments that the medium of instruction should be as they want? Like in Belgium it should be French, though in the northern speaking northern region, that is in Flemish region, and in Sri Lanka it should be Tamil. For the girls who want the medium instruction should be Tamil. So who do you think whose desire would be realized, and who is going to succeed here? So and why? You also have to tell the reason. So out of the two students, the desire of the French speaking students seems to be realized, seems that it will be realized, not that of the students who want Tamil medium instruction in Sri Lanka. The question is asked why. Why do you think so? The reason is that in Belgium they have adopted accommodation, the policy of accommodation. They have respect for the diversity, for the cultural diversity, and therefore though the French speaking people there they are less in number, but the government had made some power sharing arrangement, and there is a provision for a community government, and such matters they are dealt by the community government. Community government will decide that what should be the medium of instruction, and the community government is formed by the members of one particular language speaking community. For example, wherever they are living, the Dutch speaking people or the French speaking people, whether they are living in the northern Flemish region or in Wallonia or in capital Brussels, so a community government is formed and that will take the decision. So in case of Annette, it seems that the community government will allow that, and it also has the power to decide that the language of instruction can be French there. Then what about Sri Lanka? In Sri Lanka they have adopted a majoritarian approach, and they want to establish Sinhala supremacy. They are not recognizing the regional, the diversity, the cultural diversity, and therefore it seems that the demand of the Tamil girls, that Tamil students, that the medium of instruction should be Tamil, seems that it will not be accepted, it will not be realized, their desire will not be realized. Okay, so after this we move to the next part for today, and here we are seeing an image. So The cartoon that at the left refers to the problems of running the government's grand coalition Germany's grand coalition government. Coalition government is formed when different parties they come together and they form a government that includes the two major parties of the country, namely the Christian Democratic Union and the Social Democratic Party. So these are the two parties which have come together to form the government in Germany. Christian Democratic Union and Social Democratic Party. The two parties are historically rivals to each other. They compete against one another, these two parties, like in India, BJP and Indian National Congress. The two parties are historically rivals to each other, and they had to form a coalition government because neither of them got clear majority of seats on their own in the 2005 elections. So because none of the parties here, both the parties could not secure majority, so they decided that they will come together and form a government. They take divergent positions on several policy matters. Now, as these parties' ideologies are different, so they must be taking very different positions on several policy matters, but still jointly run the government. And you can see in the image, it is called as the German engineering. This is some kind of new method devised by the Germans, that the two parties which are rivals, they have come together and they are running a government. And you can see here that the product of the German engineering, what kind of product it is having two steering wheels. It is having two steerings. All right, so of course this is also a kind of power sharing. This is a form of power sharing. Then the next cartoon. Now, as I've told you, the captions here, the like raining the rains, and the questions, they help us in reading the meaning of the images. Here the political cartoon. Let's see first what it is about. In 2005, it is on page number 8 of your textbook. Yes, in 2005, some new laws were made in Russia giving more powers to the president, to its president. During the same time in Russia, even now the same person is the president. Do you know who is the president of Russia? Mr. Putin. He is the president of Russia. Okay. So during the same time, the US president, at that time US president was George Bush. So he visited Russia in 2005. What, according to this cartoon, is the relationship between democracy and concentration of power? Can you think of some other examples to illustrate the point being made here? We'll see what is the point being made here. First of all, what the cartoon says, we gotta keep the rein tight, Vladimir. So here it seems that George Bush is telling to Vladimir Putin, who is the president of Russia, that we have to keep the rein tight, we have to keep the control tight. And you can see that they are driving a cart which is ridden by a horse, and the horse is democracy, and they are having a firm grip over the horse. They are having firm grip over democracy. The power, they themselves are concentrating the power. The power is concentrated to them. So the question is, what, according to this cartoon, is the relationship between democracy and concentration of power? What kind of relationship we are seeing here? We are seeing that the power is concentrated here in one institution, that is the executive. We are not seeing that the power is being shared, and if such is the case, if the power is not shared neither with the judiciary or the legislature, but there is concentration of power in one institution, then that institution will run the government. You can see that they are having complete control of democracy or the democratic government. Then they will run the government and there will be no check on them. Can you think of some other examples to illustrate the point being made here? The point being made here is that if the power is concentrated with one institution, then there will be no check on such institution. Similar examples I can tell you, like in 9th standard you have read about Robert Mugabe. There he, the other institutions, for example the legislature, the opposition party members or the opposition party, what did he do with them? He harassed them, their meetings were disrupted. Even the judiciary, another institution, some of the decisions of the judiciary, they were ignored. The judges were pressurized when they went against the government. So there also there was concentration of power, and we have seen how the rule of Robert Mugabe was undemocratic. One more example that comes in my mind is of China. In China, we have seen last year that there was the Communist Party rule, and how those who were interested in contesting the elections, they have to take the approval of the Communist Party. So in China, there is rule of one party. Again, there is concentration of power. So these are the two examples which bring us the point about how power can be concentrated with one institution, and if it is then if it is unlimited, then how it does not remain a democracy. All right. Now the next topic here I am going to take is, it's called as a plus box. Now what are these plus boxes? Actually these plus boxes, they are providing us supplementary information related to the theme of the lesson. Like we know now the theme of the lesson is power sharing. So this plus box is providing us supplementary information related to the theme, that is power sharing. Now what is given here? A story is told to us through this plus box, and you are supposed to read and discuss these plus boxes, but you need not memorize the information and contents of the plus boxes. So it is for our reading and discussing. Okay, so I will tell you here what is given, or what is the story given here. There is, you all have heard the story of Vikram and Vetal. So in the story it happens that Vetal tells Vikram a story, and here Vikram is riding a motorbike, and Vetal is the pillion rider, and Vikram is silent, as I think it is the oath taken to keep silent, and Vetal tells him a story. And you know, at the end of the story what happens? Vetal asks Vikram a question, and he tells Vikram that if you know the answer of the question, if it is in your mind, if you have an answer, you have to speak out, you have to tell the answer. If you don't tell the answer, then your motorbike as well as you both will freeze. So we will see what happens there after the story ends. So what is the story? First of all, the story is about a person called Khalil, and Khalil is living in a city called as Beirut. So where is Beirut? Beirut is a capital of Lebanon, and this is a cosmopolitan city, and here people from different communities who live in Lebanon, they settle, they live in the capital here, because people of different communities, different cultures, they live together, and they live together, yet they have fought a civil war. So at the end of the civil war, what happened in Lebanon is that the Lebanon's leaders, they agreed to some basic rules for power sharing among different communities. So what kind of power sharing arrangement was there in Lebanon, that we will see. But before that, I was telling you about Khalil, that this person, how his parents belong to different communities. His father, Khalil's father, he is an Orthodox Christian, and his mother, she is a Sunni Muslim. In Muslims, like there are two sects, one are Shias and the other are Sunnis, and his mother, Khalil's mother is a Muslim, and father is a Christian. So now we will come back to what dilemma was faced by Khalil. Before that, what kind of power sharing arrangement was there, because both the things are related. Khalil's story dilemma is related with this kind of power sharing arrangement in Lebanon. So what was decided there by the leaders of Lebanon was that the post of president will be held by a person belonging to Maronite sect of Catholic Christians. So one sect of Catholic Christian called as a Maronite sect, a person from that sect only will become president of Lebanon. Then the post of prime minister will be held by a person who belongs to the Sunni Muslim community. The post of Deputy Prime Minister will be held by a person who belongs to the Orthodox Christian community, and the post of the Speaker will be held by a person who belongs to the Shia Muslim community. So this kind of power sharing arrangement was made, and this was very important. It was very important to make this kind of arrangement because there was civil war earlier, and the people, though of different communities, they lived together, but they also they intermingled, but they also fought among themselves. The people, they had a civil war, and then the leaders thought of something novel, something new, in which they thought that let's share the power with one another, and therefore this kind of arrangement was there. Now the problem with Khalil, what problem Khalil is facing in the power sharing arrangement, let me tell you one more thing, that it was decided that the Christians, they will not seek protection from France, and the Muslims, they will not seek unification with Syria. I hope you know the location of these places. Lebanon, I think somewhere it is in the northern part of Africa. Then there is sea in between, and up there is France, and here towards the eastern side there is Syria. So it was decided by them that both the communities, they will not take help. Christians will not take protection from France, and Muslims they will not seek unification with Syria. So without taking help of others, okay, without having unification with Syria or without taking help of France, the two communities, they have to live together, and that was the condition. Okay, so this was decided. Now what problem Khalil faced was that Khalil, he was a person with political ambition. He was popular, and but he did not practice the religion of either of his father or of his mother. So now if he wanted to pursue his career in politics, he would not be able to do so, because he would not become a president, he would not become the prime minister, because he did not practice the faith of any of the religion of his parents. So what can happen with Khalil? Khalil thinks that why this kind of arrangement is there, power sharing arrangement has been made in Lebanon. Actually Khalil's uncle has died in the civil war, and the elders tell Khalil that this kind of arrangement is a guarantee of peace, only it ensures peace in Lebanon. So what can Khalil do in this situation? So this is what is the question asked by Vetal to Vikram now. So he is telling him, he is asking him that if you had the power to rewrite the rules in Lebanon, what would you do? Means he is asking to Vikram that if you had the power to rewrite the rules in Lebanon, what would you do? Would you adopt the regular rules followed everywhere as Khalil suggests? What are the regular rules followed means? Like for example, what we have in India, one who is interested in becoming the prime minister, what he has to do is that he has to contest elections. There we are not seeing that he belongs to which community. We are not seeing whether Narendra Modi belongs to Hindu religion, or if he would have been, then he belongs to another religion. That is not the criteria here. So this is what Khalil wants, that the religion or community should not be seen, but that is not the case in Lebanon. They are seeing that the person belongs to which community. And then Vetal also asks Vikram, or he wants to stick to the old rules. Old rules means the kind of rules that were formed after the power sharing arrangement, or he wants to do something else. And Vetal did not forget to remind Vikram of their basic pact, that if you have an answer in mind, you have to speak up, otherwise your mobile will freeze and you too will freeze. So students, with these activities we have finished 4 topics of this lesson, and now only one topic is left to be completed, that is forms of power sharing, that we are going to take tomorrow. But before that, let's have a recap of whatever we have studied in this lesson so far. We have studied the 2 stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka, and what have we learned from those stories. And then those 2 stories, they have helped us to yield general conclusions about the need for power sharing. That is topic number 4. So what have we learned from the two stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka? In Belgium, we have seen that the people, the leaders, they were ready for sharing power. They recognize the cultural and regional diversities, and they changed the constitution 4 times and worked out an arrangement of power sharing, which is called as the Belgian model. What are the 4 elements of the Belgian model? Yes, first is regarding the central government, that in central government the number of members of both the communities would be equal, and some subjects, some laws of the central government would be passed by the consent of the majority of members of each lingual community. This means that no law will be passed unilaterally. This is the first regarding the central government. Second, regarding the state government, that the state governments will not be subordinate to the central government. Some power of the central government will be given to the state governments. Third is regarding the community government. There would be a community government for each of the 3 communities, and this government would be elected by the people of the 3 communities, irrespective of where they live. This community government, it will have the power to decide regarding the cultural, educational and language related issues. And yes, what was the effect of this? The effect of this kind of power sharing arrangement was that the tensions between the 2 communities, they were able to settle their differences, and the possible split of the country was prevented. Then what happened in Sri Lanka? In Sri Lanka is a contrasting example. There the Sinhala leaders, they wanted to establish the supremacy of the majority community, and the minority community there, those who were having diverse culture, that is the Tamil speaking people in Sri Lanka, they felt alienated because the majoritarian measures that were adopted by the Sinhala community leaders, by the government. And yes, what were the 3 measures adopted? One was regarding making the Sinhala language as the only official language of Sri Lanka. Second was giving preferences to the Sinhala speaking people in the university positions and government jobs. And the third was fostering the religion which was followed by most of the Sinhala speaking people, that is Buddhism. So protecting and fostering Buddhism. So this led to a feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils, and they made certain demands. What were their demands? They demanded that Tamil should also be recognized as an official language. They wanted regional autonomy, and they felt that the government discriminated against them by giving preference to the Sinhala speaking people in university positions and government jobs. So they wanted equal opportunity in education and jobs. They felt that the majority of the leaders of the political parties, Sinhala leaders of the political parties in Sri Lanka, they were not sensitive to their culture and their language. So there were distrust, there were strained relations among the 2 communities, and then it led to a conflict, and the conflict became violent and took the form of civil war, where thousands of people lost their lives from both the communities. So thus from the 2 stories we have learned that if power sharing arrangement is done as it was done in Belgium, then a possible split of the country can be prevented. And if this demand for power sharing, if it is not recognized, those people who are diverse culturally, if they demand for power sharing, and Sri Lanka's example shows that if this demand is not met, then it can lead to severe conflict, like a civil war in which many people can lose their lives. So what are the general conclusions that that these 2 stories yield are that they are about the need of power sharing. So why power sharing is desirable? There we have seen that two sets of reason. One is the prudential reasons and the second is the moral reasons. Yes, the prudential reasons are why power sharing is good. Power sharing is good because it ensures political stability. See, when the power is not shared, then it can lead to conflict among the society, among the social groups, and this can lead to violence and instability of the political order. So for stability of political order, power sharing is desirable, power sharing is good. And the second set of reasons is the moral reasons, that power sharing is considered as the spirit of democracy. And why it is considered the spirit of democracy? Because democratic rule involves sharing power with those who are affected by its rule, that we have seen, sharing power with those who are affected by its rule and who by its exercise and who have to live with its effects. People have the right to be consulted on how they are to be governed, and a democratic rule, a legitimate rule, is one in which people, they participate in the government. Through participation they acquire a stake in the system. So this is why power sharing is needed. So students, we reach now to the end of the lesson, end part of the lesson, that is forms of power sharing, that we are going to start tomorrow. And for today, whatever portion we have finished, you see that you read it carefully and be prepared for tomorrow's learning. Thank you.